Did Jesus really die? One argument amongst those trying to disprove the resurrection, that is Jesus rising from the dead, is to say that Jesus never actually died in the first place. Instead, he passed out whilst he was on the cross, and then whilst he was in the tomb, he came back around. Just how plausible is this suggestion? Well, let's take a look at the medical evidence. A word of warning though, this is not for the faint-hearted. After the Last Supper, Jesus went to the Garden of Gethsemane with his disciples. Jesus knew what he was about to go through. He knew that he was going to be tortured and killed. And the thought of this, we are told in the Gospels, caused him to sweat blood. This is a genuine medical condition known as hematidrosis, and it's caused by extreme psychological stress. The next day, Jesus endured a form of Roman torture. He was flogged. Now, Roman floggings were notoriously brutal. The whips were made from leather strips, with metal balls and sharp bone tied into them. These would bruise and rip at the flesh. Some floggings were so brutal that the victim would die from that alone. Others would suffer from hypovolemic shock. This is what happens when you lose too much blood. There's some evidence that Jesus was suffering from this, as it's recorded that he was unable to carry his cross to the execution site, and it was carried for him by a passerby named Simon. Then Jesus would have been nailed to the horizontal beam of the cross. The nails would have gone through his wrists and hit his median nerve, causing excruciating pain. In fact, the word excruciating comes from this form of torture. Excruciating means out of the cross. Then Jesus would have been hung up and had his feet nailed to the wood too. Alternating shifting his weight between his nailed legs and arms, eventually his shoulders would have dislocated. And in order to breathe, Jesus would have had to have lifted himself up and down. And the effort of this would have exhausted him to the point that he could no longer move until he suffocated. These Roman soldiers were paid experts at killing people, with the added incentive of execution themselves if a prisoner escaped. That explains why the Romans checked to make sure that Jesus was dead. It's recorded that they were intending on breaking Jesus' legs so that he would suffocate quicker. Instead, finding him dead, they stabbed him in the side with a spear to check that he was dead. And it's recorded that blood and water flowed out separately. It's fascinating to me that even this detail is recorded, because in those times they wouldn't have known that this was a sign that his heart had failed. It was a sign of death. After all that, do you really think that Jesus could have survived?